Hello, Fantasy Cave community. This is the Batbran, aka Brandon. It is just me this week. It's going to be me for the next couple weeks. With the holidays coming up, I'm going to have to pre-record some of these. Um, and like probably next week we're fine. This week and next week will be next week will probably see me and my good friend Funk back on here, but we're here with, of course, the Week 10 schedule. Well, if we can get this pop up. Go over the Week 9 matchups, look at our picks. We also have all the players that performed well, talk about them a little bit, injuries, and then go into the Week 10 schedule and talk about start-sit decisions. You guys know how it is. If you enjoy this content, go ahead down below, hit that like button. Also, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. And also, ring the bell so you never miss when a new episode of the podcast does go up. We are trying to work to get this up on other platforms like, say, Spotify and Apple Podcasts and stuff like that. Don't really know how to go through that, but if anyone knows, let me know. But we're going to go into these matchups here for Week 9 and just run through them really quickly. We already talked about the Thursday night game on our last stream. If you didn't watch that, you need to watch that. Los Angeles Chargers at the Atlanta Falcons. Los Angeles winning barely. Herbert is a shell of himself, by the way. Patterson came back, had a good day, and then decided in Thursday night's game in the middle of Hurricane Nicole or Tropical Storm Nicole to do nothing. So that's not great. I'm in a matchup where I have Cordell Patterson, and I had to play D'Onta Foreman, and D'Onta Foreman decided to throw up 100 yards again and throw up 19 points on me. So, yeah, that's nice. But, yeah, I chose Los Angeles in this matchup. We both obviously chose Los Angeles. We both chose Miami against Chicago. I will say this. Justin Fields, I'm going to talk about him for a quick second. The Dolphins are a very good football team, but Jeff Wilson is a guy, by the way, you shouldn't be looking at. He first game back had some time, like we did tell you guys about. It wasn't just Raheem Mostert; it was Jeff Wilson doing a lot of the stuff as well. So it seems like both of them are going to be okay flex options going forward. But on the Bears side, Justin Fields is something else. Like, Justin Fields broke a record that was held by once Michael Vick. And reports have been coming out that they have been looking at what the Ravens do with Lamar Jackson, what the other teams that like Michael Vick did in Atlanta and stuff like that, and they're using Justin Fields similarly to that, and it's working. And it is working, and like honestly, the Chicago's defense is something that they are really going to go full bore and fix in the draft and in free agency. They have a lot of money going into the next year, and I really do think that this is a team that will reload, and we'll see them probably in a year or two back on top in this division, because this division is a mess other than the Vikings, which even the Vikings are a mess defensively. But Justin Fields is a guy I'm willing to start every week going forward. Justin Fields is so freaking nice. It is so freaking good. And it just David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, those guys were kind of down this week, which sucks. But Darnell Mooney has been showing off too. So every week, Chicago, I'm excited to see every matchup they're in going forward, because it's just like it's going to be a shootout every time they have the ball. So. And Cincinnati putting the pounding on Carolina. We both picked Cincinnati in that matchup. Joe Mixon had a 53-point game. Who would have thought it would be this week, the week I played him in a league? Of course it was. And then we had Green Bay losing to the Detroit Lions. I will say I will take the L on that. I did say Green Bay gets it back some way. They did not. Detroit came out and decided, no, we're going to dominate you. And Aaron Rodgers just had a terrible day. 3 picks. Should have had 4. It's just, and they play Dallas next week. The Green Bay is done. I really do think that Aaron Rodgers steps away. You're going to see some changes going forward with these guys. It is a shame what is going on in Green Bay. It makes me very happy as a Bears fan, though. And then Indy to the New England Patriots. We both picked New England in this matchup. Indy didn't stand a chance. Indianapolis has fallen apart after this loss. Frank Reich did get fired, and then after that, Jim Irsay decided, hey, I'm going to give the job to Jeff Saturday that has no experience whatsoever. He's not even on the coaching staff, and he's their new head coach. Oh my god. Like the Indianapolis Colts are like one of the worst teams right now to watch. I will say that. And probably the most shocking of the day was the New York Jets both taking down the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen got hurt at the end of this game. He did practice Friday. He is questionable for Sunday, but just be prepared. If he does not play against the Vikings, it's going to be Case Keenum, and those chances at like a Gabe Davis upside, stuff like that, that really goes down next week. And then Minnesota really struggled with Washington. I know Minnesota's 7-1, but they really shouldn't be 7-1. This is a team that honestly, like every single one of their games they've won has been like they're entertaining. I will say that they're very entertaining. I think it was like they've played like all their 7 wins have been for like 3 points or less. But you're struggling with Washington. You should not be struggling with Washington. It's very sad that they struggled with them the way they did. We'll see how good they are against Buffalo, but they may get lucky again because, see, this is the thing. This year we've seen 2 teams that have been really good and have been the best in the league, in the Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings. And the Eagles have really not played anybody really good to this point in time. And the Minnesota Vikings have played, I think, the Packers, and the Packers aren't that great of a team at this moment in time either. So, like, we'll see how good Minnesota is coming up here real soon. The Las Vegas Raiders against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have selected the Jaguars, and I have to look back and see what Funk picked, but I was pretty sure he did select the Jags as well. This came out that the Raiders are a terrible football team at this moment in time. The only good members on this team is Devontae Adams and Darren Waller. He has been put on IR, and so is Hunter Renfrow. So both of those guys, you can't rely on them at this point, and it's very disappointing because this was a team that had some high hopes with Josh McDaniels going there, Devontae Adams going there, just loaded to the gills on offense, and this was the year Derek Carr had to prove himself, and I really think Derek Carr is not going to survive. Derek Carr is not going to be around anymore. Then the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. I did pick the Arizona Cardinals to beat Seattle. Did not think we'd be sitting here saying the Seattle Seahawks would be as good as they are, but here we are. They go to Munich next week to face Tampa. And I gotta say, Seattle leading this division with no Russell. Who would have thought the problem was Russell Wilson? The problem was Russell Wilson. I'm very shocked that happened. I did not see Seattle sitting here at 6-3 with Geno Smith at quarterback and a rookie at running back doing what they're doing. And I will say Kenneth Walker is an incredible... It sucks because Rashad Penny's going to lose his job. And I love Rashad Penny. And Kenneth Walker is such... Kenneth Walker and Travis Etienne. They have basically, I think, like, we're going to see both these guys take over their respective jobs. They have pretty much have taken over their jobs, I'll say that. But on Seattle's side, like, this is a team, like, they play Tampa right now, the way Tampa's playing. Seattle could beat them too, but we'll get into that a little later. And on the Arizona side, like, Arizona, like, other than DeAndre Hopkins, there was issues on the sideline where him and Kyler Murray were fighting with each other. And if this isn't the year Cliff Kingsbury gets the boot, I don't know what is, but they probably will keep him because they gave him a big contract, and him and Kyler, they're both locked in for a while. Then the Los Angeles Rams against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Tampa Bay winning in the last second. Um, and in this, like, this was all on the Rams defense. In this game, I do believe I did pick the Tampa Bay Bucks to beat the Los Angeles Rams. In this, it was really just Brady throwing a last second touchdown to Kate Otten, but Brady is constantly he's giving you good yardage, but touchdowns, like, he's not throwing a bunch of touchdowns. But I think this is the week we could see it in Munich, um, for a foreign crowd, I think. And for Los Angeles, the only guy that's really producing for Los Angeles is Cooper Kupp, and that's pretty much it. I mean, Tyler Higbee isn't even producing anymore. It's just terrible to see. This is a Super Bowl champ, and they are struggling this bad. Tennessee, playing Kansas City. Kansas City winning in OT. Patrick Mahomes is a beast, by the way. Patrick Mahomes is right now, he is, I believe, the quarterback one in all of fantasy. Um, I'm almost pretty sure of that. Yeah, he is. It's him, and then I'm looking on my phone. It's him, and then Jalen Hurts. So right now, Patrick Mahomes, like, he put up 65 yards rushing on top of the 400 yards passing, and it doesn't even matter that he doesn't have Tyreek Hill anymore. As long as he has Travis Kelce and Juju starting to bust out, we're starting to see Juju do more, and once they get Kadarius Toney going, this could be an offense that it could be back to the old Kansas City Chiefs, and of course Derrick Henry is really good. So, and we both chose Kansas City in this game. And then New Orleans going to play Baltimore. We both picked Baltimore in this matchup. It was a game where Baltimore dominated for pretty much all the game. Alvin Kamara did nothing really to speak of. Kenyon Drake, if you spot started him, Kenyon Drake gave you like 2 touchdowns. But yeah, we're going to move into the Week 10 matchups now and get into those. Yeah, by the way, how y'all doing? I hope you're having an excellent day, by the way. And the Thursday night game, that also did happen. Thursday night, it was Carolina 25, Atlanta 15. In this game, Marcus Mariota and PJ Walker were both terrible. Nothing to really speak of there. Cordero Patterson, it was very rainy. It was a very rainy game. Cordero Patterson really didn't do anything, which sucks. It really sucked because I was like, this is the week I can play him. He just threw up 2 touchdowns the last week, and he's finally back. It's just up to the rain because next week they do play Chicago. You can play Cordero again. And he should have a touchdown or 2. Or at least 50 to 80 yards on this field. On the Carolina side, the really guy to only really talk about was Deontay Foreman. He did it once again with 130 yards rushing. I do not believe he got a touchdown in this game, though. No, he did not get a touchdown in this game. If he did, oh yes, he did get a touchdown in this game. I apologize. He did get a touchdown. So he got the touchdown. And DJ Moore, again, another disappointing week for DJ Moore. He's starting to come back down to earth. I think he's only worthy of a flex play at this point. I mean, he's been up and down. I mean, this is DJ Moore, but that's the thing. He can pop off, and have a really good day. And going forward, uh, I mean, if you have better options, I'd much rather play them because I'll just chalk that one up for the rain, though. I'll chalk that up to the storm because the tropical storm was bad. It was very bad. It was a lot of rain. Moving on to the Sunday slate, we have. By the way, I will say this: Cincinnati, New England, New York, and the Baltimore Ravens are all on bye. So if you have Lamar Jackson, Joe Mixon, um, Joe Burrow, or like any of the New York Jet players, they're on bye. So make sure you do not like you pick someone else up for this week. Um, like it I mean, I know there are some leagues like I do have several of these players from these four teams. So we got through by apocalypse, so that's good. Seattle, Tampa. They open it up on Sunday morning in Munich, in Germany. This game is in the morning, so make sure you do check your lineups. Check and make sure if you have anyone injured in this game that they are indeed playing. That includes Cade Otton, because Cameron Brate, he could come back. If he does come back and he is playing, obviously you can't play Cade Otton. But if he's out, you play him because Seattle's defense is terrible against the tight end, and he is like my tight end start of the week. If not, if he doesn't play, we'll talk. Like if Cameron Brate plays, he's not. But and I'll have a pivot for that later. But in this game, of course, you're playing Seattle's. Like I would play Geno Smith in a spot start against Tampa Bay's defense. I know it is Tampa Bay, but um, Geno Smith is actually quarterback 7 in fantasy. Geno can still put up really good points, and I still feel like he is matchup proof almost at this point because even they're going to be down, he's going to have opportunities to throw the football. He is going to air it out. Kenneth Walker. Of course, you're starting Kenneth Walker. I know it's Tampa Bay's defense, but you have to start Kenneth Walker every week. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. I mean, you can play both as well. They have been performing decently. And if you're feeling like you want to play the game with tight end, I mean, Noah Fant had a good game last week, but it was really just a spot start against the Arizona Cardinals, which are second worst to tight ends. And then on Tampa Bay side, listen, Brady, I will say this. The Seattle Seahawks defense is very good against quarterbacks and wide receivers. But I think this is the week we're going to get a good game for Brady. I think Brady is finally going to have more than one touchdown this week. I think this is the week that Godwin catches a touchdown. It's got to at some point happen. I mean, the worst he's giving you in PPR formats, which that's what I go off of, is like 10-point floor. That's not bad. That's why like you have to live in the flames with him, and I'm almost like in all the leagues I have him, I'm just like, God, this sucks that I have to play him, and I have like nowhere to really play him right now. Like he's not putting up good points is what I'm saying. And Mike Evans dropping passes. So like that's been a major problem for them. You're playing Godwin and you're playing Mike Evans. I don't need to tell you that. And we talked about Cade Otton. The running backs though. Leonard Fournette is a guy, of course, you need to play. He's still Leonard Fournette, but he has been losing carries and more time to Rachaad White. He actually came out and said he is not happy about him losing time and it being a timeshare and different stuff like that. And honestly, I agree with him to a point because he is still a very good running back. He deserves that kind of respect. I feel like honestly, like he should not be getting the kind of disrespect he's getting. I'll say that. But still, you have to do something with the opportunities you are getting. And he's not doing much with the opportunities he's getting. So Rachaad White, when he comes in, he does have good carry and stuff. I wouldn't start White just yet. But he's worthy to be stashed in the bottom of your bench and just keep him and hold him for now. In this game, who do I like? I think Tampa wins this game. I think that this is a game that Seattle will have to put up points. I think this is going to be one of the more entertaining games. I really do feel that. Moving on to the Minnesota Vikings and the Buffalo Bills. In this game, Buffalo, Josh Allen, is he going to play? We don't know that as of yet. Right now, he is questionable. Keep an eye on the Sunday morning and see if he is available to go. I think he's going to play, honestly. And if he does, this is going to be a very entertaining game. If not, I think that it is Minnesota's game to lose. In this game, if Josh Allen plays, you can play Gabe Davis. You can play like Devin Singletary in a pinch and Stephon Diggs. Of course, you're playing Stephon Diggs regardless of who starts. He's playing his old team. Stephon Diggs is going to have a very good game. But if Josh Allen doesn't play, you're going to need a quarterback pivot option. And a quarterback pivot option to play. I would say going for saying a Jared Goff against Chicago, who we'll talk about in a little bit, or even Jacoby Brissett against Miami, or even at this point, I would even think about playing, and I hate to do this, I would think about playing Kyler Murray, if you have Kyler Murray, obviously, but like Jimmy G against Los Angeles against the Chargers, because the Chargers defense is not that great right now. So you can definitely play those guys over Josh Allen if he is hurt, obviously. If not, you're playing Josh Allen. I don't need to tell you that. And then, of course, Dawson Knox has done nothing. You need a better tight end at this point. But on the Minnesota side, you can play every single person on that side. Even Kirk Cousins. I mean, Adam Thielen is a guy that you could take a glance at him if you need him. You can spot start him if you really need. And you have someone on bye, say T. Higgins or something, and you need Adam Thielen, you can play him. But it's going to be a tough game for them with Buffalo's defense, which is a very decent and good defense. And it's in Buffalo, so it is going to be quite the game up there. I think if Josh Allen plays, Buffalo wins. If not, it is Minnesota. So we will go with that. And I know that's kind of like a gimme where it saves me there. Next, we move on to the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. In this game, I think this is a game we do see a big shootout. This is going to be a points bonanza because both defenses suck. They can't stop either team. And their offenses are really good. And I think, honestly, it comes down to, Jared Goff is my quarterback start of the week along with Justin Fields. Both of these quarterbacks I'm starting with confidence in this matchup, especially after the way Justin Fields has been playing right now. You need to play him every single week. And Jared Goff, it's Chicago's defense. They are pretty good against wide receivers, but I think that they're going to have to put points up. So Jared Goff will have a decent day. Of course, you have to play Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Darnell Mooney has been good enough to play. What about Cole Kmet? Cole Kmet did catch 2 touchdowns last week. I guess if you're in a pinch and need a tight end, you can play him, but don't expect the 2 touchdowns you got last week. Don't go chasing points, is what I'm going to say. And really on the running back side, both these running back rooms have similar problems, except for DeAndre Swift has been constantly injured. Can he be played? I think as of right now, I can't start him until I'm in a league. I have him and Jamal Williams. I'm playing Jamal because it's a really good matchup. But until DeAndre Swift gets more carries and gets more volume and is back to 100%, and they actually physically tell me that, I'm not playing him. And it sucks because it's a really good matchup, but you're safer with Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams has more of a touchdown upside, I feel, in this game. And on the Chicago side, of course, Damian. David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert are going to be both starts as well, of course. Those are both running backs that are going to be very good on the ground against Detroit's defense, which Detroit's defense is not very good against the run as well. So I'm picking Chicago in this game. That's kind of a given at this point. I don't see Detroit beating Chicago. And if that does happen, I mean, I'm happy either way because my team just gets worse and we get a better draft pick. So, um, really, right now, we're just going to pop up and tell me all this. Um, anyway, Denver against Tennessee Titans. So the Denver Broncos, they go to Tennessee. In this game, like you can't play Russell Wilson, can you? Can you play Russell Wilson against Tennessee? I mean, I'm gonna put on the steel underpants and say you can. I mean, I'm gonna put on the like I'm almost scared to like I'm putting on the straight jacket, but I kind of want to play Russell Wilson against Tennessee's defense. I mean, the secondary isn't that intimidating, and I kind of want to play them against them. So like I mean I'll give it a shot. Um, but yeah, I feel that in this matchup, like Denver wise, like the running game is not going to be great. Tennessee did very good last week against everyone except for Patrick Mahomes. So the Denver's run game, whatever equivalent that is there, I wouldn't start them. But the wide receivers, I mean, I like Jerry Judy and Cortland Sutton against this secondary, but if you have better options, I'm not going to blame you for going a different direction. In that right now that they don't exactly bode a bunch of confidence. But the one guy I will say that is giving a lot of confidence is Greg Dulcich, the Weird Al Yankovic lookalike. He's coming out here looking really good, by the way. They're targeting him deep. He has gotten a lot of play in this offense, and honestly, in the tight end realm, you can't ask for a whole lot more than like 5 for 80 or 4 for 87, like he's been putting up, which has been really good for tight ends right now. On the Tennessee side, this is easy. The only guy you're starting is Derrick Henry. Um, you're not starting anybody else in this offense. I will say Treylon Burks did get designated to return. He has been practicing, but he is not cleared to play yet. So keep an eye on that. Tennessee's winning this football game. There's no way Denver wins this game. Moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City, like you're starting everybody in Kansas City, except for the running backs, of course. I would even look at like Pacheco. Just keep your eye on Pacheco in that. But the pieces, like the big pieces, I want to go plain MVS and all that. But and Mecole Hardman. But of course, the usual suspects. Juju, definitely you're playing Juju. He's one of my wide receiver starts of the week this week with Jacksonville's defense, and then Patrick Mahomes. Of course, you're playing him every week. But the Jacksonville side is kind of interesting. You're playing ETN, of course, but like they're gonna have to keep up with points. I really think if you need a quarterback stream, like Trevor Lawrence is all right. It's not great, but I think he's gonna be all right for you. Um, in this, I just feel like this is gonna be another barn burner. Kansas City's gonna blow out another team here. Uh, it does not look good for Jacksonville, but I do think they're going to have to keep up in points, and the way they do that is throwing the football to Christian Kirk and even like Evan Ingram, who I know he did hurt his back last week, but I think he is still a startable asset at tight end if you're desperate. Moving on, also Kansas City's winning this game. We don't need to talk about that too much there either. Um, wow, we're doing really good. Only 30 minutes in, and we're almost halfway through all these matchups. Next is Cleveland Browns against the Miami Dolphins. I will say this: the Cleveland Browns, they get Deshaun Watson back in 2 weeks. So Deshaun Watson coming back in 2 weeks, it if they can stay alive, I mean Cleveland could get an upgrade offensively. Um, I will say this: Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, they're both starts against this Miami defense, and Amari Cooper. And if Njoku plays, I think you kind of have to play Njoku. He's had really good targets and whatnot, but I don't think he's playing this week against Miami. I think they're going to give him like one more week, but he is back, so keep that on the radar. And on the Miami side, it's the usual suspects, of course. You're playing Tua again against Cleveland, and you're playing Waddle and Tyreek Hill, which Tyreek Hill right now is the wide receiver one in all of fantasy right now. And you just have to play these guys. These two, like Jalen Waddle, I believe is like the wide receiver 6 in PPR, and Waddle or and Tyreek Hill is like wide receiver 1 or 2. I think it's tied with Devonte Adams right now. No, it's tied with Justin Jefferson. I apologize, but and Cooper Kupp. So like those, like Tyreek Hill's been like really, really good, and he has the best matchup this week against Cleveland secondary. I think this is going to be a blowout, to be honest with you. Uh, but Cleveland is going to try their best to keep the points up here. I do feel like this could be back and forth. It could, but I don't see that happening in this game. In this game, honestly, like you can't start Gesicki, by the way, as well. And in the running backs for Miami, you got Mostert, you got Jeff Wilson. You can definitely start both of them as well. It's almost like a situation like you have in Cleveland, where both of them are going to get plays, but you're kind of hoping one of them falls in the end zone like they did last week. Both of them did get in the end zone. Miami wins this game, by the way. I'm picking Miami to win this game. Moving on to the New York Giants and the Houston Texans. In this game, honestly, the only guy you're playing for Houston is Dameon Pierce. I will say this, though. Brandon Cooks is practicing. He could be back. I want to see what he does. I'm not going to just throw him in my starting lineup with no, like, context on what he's going to do. Just like week one, start him again. That's too risky. But on the New York side, like, it's Saquon Barkley and maybe flex Wan'Dale Robinson if necessary. And honestly, this is a game like I really don't have a like. This is not gonna be a high scoring game. I mean, most New York Giants games aren't. I'll be honest, New York, how they're 7-2, I have no clue. I've been saying it all year. I don't know how we've gotten to this point. But New York is going to win this game. I honestly feel I don't know how Houston upsets them. So, yeah, I don't see how that upset goes through. Moving on to the New Orleans Saints against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, this is a team that just lost Chase Claypool. Just lost Chase Claypool. So my tight end start of the week is the Muth, Pat Fryermuth, because he's going to get more targets than what he already got before. And New Orleans, they bleed points to the tight end. I think like he's going to get more targets. It's going to be him and Deontay Johnson. Also keep a look on George Pickens, because George Pickens could do more with no Claypool there anymore as well. This is their first game without Claypool. So just keep an eye on what the wide receivers do there. But I think Muth is going to get even more targets than normal. And you're not playing the running backs for Pittsburgh. Keep an eye for Jalen Warren, though, and see how much they use him coming out of the bye. Because they did say in their bye they are going to try and use him more. So if they use him more over Najee, it not only hurts Najee, but it makes like Jalen Warren that much better to look at. And honestly, I think right now for them, like this point, you're losing games. You're 2-6. You might as well at this point just say play our young players and see what they can give us and see what we got out of some of them and just let them play. And I think that's what they're going to do the rest of the way. And on the New Orleans sides, I mean, Andy Dalton is actually a good quarterback start if you lose Josh Allen because Pittsburgh's defense bleeds points to the secondary, but TJ Watt just bleeds points to the wide receiver and quarterback. We'll say that. And honestly, with TJ Watt back, I don't think it makes that big of a difference, but one player can make all the difference. And honestly, I could see this being a typical Pittsburgh Steeler game, but I think Andy Dalton can have a good game against the secondary. Secondary is not that great. Chris Olave is also wide receiver. You must start. He is a must start, no question about it. This is Pittsburgh's defense. It's such a good matchup. You have to play him. And you can play the Taysom Hill game if you really feel like it, but if you want 1 point, I mean, sure, you can do that, but I think the ship has sailed on good old T. Hill. So, and of course, Alvin Kamara you need to start him every week, obviously. So, even though he only gives you like 4 or 5 points some weeks anymore, but that is how it's been for New Orleans since Drew Brees is retired for Kamara. It's almost as if Kamara relied on Brees to give him points. It's almost Brees was the reason why that offense was so good. Who would have thought? I'm picking the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game. I feel like Pittsburgh can eke out a win. Here, it's been a while, and I think it's going to be like a last-second field goal win. Moving on to the Indianapolis Colts against the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders, one of the worst teams in the league right now. Indy's very close behind. I don't understand. They're just in tumult right now with Jeff Saturday being the new head coach, like Jonathan Taylor constantly being hurt, not being himself, not being the number 1 overall pick you selected, the quarterback situation. I mean, at this point, they should just be better off, like, just playing Matt Ryan and hoping you can win this division because, like, Tennessee, it looks like they're just gonna run away with the division at this point. They keep playing the way they're playing, and everyone else in their division kind of sucks. So, like, Indy, like Michael Pittman, I'm not playing Michael Pittman this week. With a new coaching staff and the Sam Ellinger is still the starting quarterback, and I just can't do it. But I am keeping a close eye on, like, what they do with Jonathan Taylor, because if Jonathan Taylor is, like, with this new coach, he is an ex-center. He is a offensive line coach. He knows offensive line. I strongly feel like Jonathan Taylor, you'll start to see him bounce back a little bit, and but he has no coaching experience. Honestly, like, you think Jerry Jones is geriatric? Jim Irsay is 10 times worse. Jim Irsay he's a wild man, I tell you that. But in this, like, the Las Vegas side too, they just lost Darren Waller to IR. He's out for 4 weeks, and Hunter Renfrow. So really, it's Devontae Adams, and if in deep leagues, it's Mac Hollins. So, and Derek Carr can't be started. He can't at this point. Like, if you are playing Derek Carr, I pity you. I really, really pity you. And then, of course, Josh Jacobs is... I mean, I know he's come back down to earth, but Josh Jacobs still can be started every week. And in this game, I strongly feel like the things just keep getting worse for Indy. I think Vegas does win this game, and, like, it kind of helps them a little bit. But Vegas is just so downtrodden right now. These are two teams that are just falling apart. Speaking of teams that are falling apart, Green Bay Packers go to, our hosts to the Dallas Cowboys coming in. Dallas getting everyone back. Everyone's healthy. Zeke looks like he's going to play. If he doesn't, you got to smash play Pollard, by the way. And on the Green Bay side, they're just falling apart right now. Um, Aaron Jones is questionable for this game. Uh, just Alan Lazard, I believe, is questionable, but he's going to play. Christian Watson is out. This is a team that they should have went and tried to grab somebody at the trade deadline. Did not do that, and they are paying the price. And they're also missing their star wide receiver because this game would be very different if they had a number one receiver and a target that Aaron Rodgers can throw the football to. Um, on the Dallas side, like to be honest with you, I mean Dak, he can definitely play. CeeDee Lamb, he's a play. You can flex play Michael Gallup if you need. But the guy I really like is Dalton Schultz. You saw that with Dak back. Dalton Carter catching a lot more passes. I think this the week Dalton Schultz gets another touchdown again, and just has good volume again with Dak. And on the Green Bay side, like, I mean, you can't, I'm not playing anybody from the Green Bay side, really. If you're desperate in need of a tight end, you can play Robert Tunyon, but he has only had one really good game, and other than that, he's had 30 yards. It's not really reliable. And for, like, the Aaron Jones situation, if Aaron Jones plays, you have to play him. And if not, like, I will say this: the one thing about Dallas, they are beatable on the ground a little bit defensively, but they're going to just like they're going to go all out to stop the run, especially if Aaron Jones plays, because it's just going to be Aaron Rodgers. We want you to beat us, so and try to play a game where they can pick off passes. So. Sorry about that. Don't you love when you get phone calls right in the middle of your recording? I do. Anyway, Dallas. Yeah, Dallas is winning this football game, without a question. There's not any doubt in my mind that's going to happen. And then Arizona against the Los Angeles Rams. Arizona is like 1-6 against the Rams since Cliff Kingsbury has taken over. And the Rams have been in free fall right now. Stafford is hurt. He's in the concussion protocol, and I highly doubt he is playing Sunday. And if he doesn't, it's John Wolford. And last time he played Arizona, he did pretty well. So, like, I think that he could, like, this is going to be a low-scoring game, of course. But I do feel like the Rams can, like, still do very well without Matthew Stafford. Especially Matthew Stafford has been hurt. He's been dealing with that shoulder problem still all year. But in this game, Arizona side, you have to play Kyler Murray, of course, and DeAndre Hopkins. But I'm not playing James Conner against the Los Angeles Rams defense. They did lose last week to Tampa, but the one thing they didn't do was give up a lot of yards to the run, and they still shut down the run. You're not playing James Conner against this football team. And then in PPR leagues, you have to play Rondell Moore. Rondell Moore has been getting a lot of stuff close to the line of scrimmage, and if you're in a full-time PPR league, he's a definite must-start. And on the Rams side, I mean, the only guy that I'm really looking to play is, of course, Cooper Kupp. That is it. I'm not even looking Tyler Higbee's way, which sucks because Arizona is such a good matchup against tight ends, though. And if Matthew Stafford doesn't play, I can't play Higbee. But if he does play, I mean, you can play Higbee. I don't want to. I'm going to go on a rim and say rim. I'm going to go on a limb and say that the Rams do win this football game. And moving on to the Sunday night football game, the Los Angeles Chargers against the San Francisco 49ers. This game is going to be very entertaining. This is a really good Sunday night football game. I will say they have been putting some good Sunday night football games on the schedule lately. And this is another one. This is another good one. San Fran coming off their bye. Los Angeles coming off of a nail-biter against the Atlanta Falcons. Los Angeles right now, Herbert doesn't really have any weapons to throw the football to. He's throwing to Josh Palmer, and that's pretty much it. It looks like Keenan Allen may play this week. If he doesn't, Josh Palmer definitely needs to be thrown in your lineup along with Gerald Everett. And of course, Austin Eckler is excellent. He is, as some people would say in the fantasy community, awesome, excellent. But other than that, that's it. I mean, I don't trust the Chargers. Um, like Herbert, I'm actually kind of thinking about, is it crazy to want to bench Herbert for like someone else? Because Stanford's defense is still really, really good. I mean, I'm actually kind of thinking about benching him if you have an option to get a Justin Fields and you have him start it and you like in your bench and you want to start him. I'd start him over Herbert. That's a much better like, and I hate to say that because Herbert's so good, but I think you are at the point now you kind of have to until those targets come back, especially if a better matchups too. I mean, and Herbert can still do some amazing things, but I just don't see that happening until like his weapons are back. So, and on the San Francisco side, Jimmy G, he is definitely a quarterback stream this week that you can play as well. He's a guy, if you have Herbert, go pick up Jimmy G and play him against this Chargers defense, which is not great against pass. So, and of course, the run game, Christian McCaffrey, got to play Christian McCaffrey. And the tight end, George Kittle, has looked really good. And Debo, of course, you're playing Debo every week. But what about Brandon Ayuk? Are you playing Brandon Ayuk against the Chargers? I feel like you can play all the pieces, the major pieces in this offense that matter because San Francisco's offense is, I mean, I know Jimmy G isn't the best quarterback right now, but they haven't looked great, throwing it. But I think that Ayuk has been pretty good with no Debo, but Debo back, that does lower Ayuk a little bit. So Ayuk is still at least a flex play. In this game, I think San Francisco takes it. I think San Francisco can win it. I think the Chargers got away last week with a game that they should not have won against the Atlanta Falcons, which they should not have struggled with the Falcons the way they did. But they got away with it, and they will not this time against that San Francisco's defense. And then moving on to the final game, final matchup is Monday Night Football against the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly still undefeated. I don't think that changes. I think Philly wins this football game. And on the Philly side, like you're playing everybody that's like worth starting on Philly. So like Miles Sanders, he needs to be started. Jalen Hurts, he's a start. AJ Brown, of course, he's a start, and Devonta Smith. I know he's been down lately, but you can still start him. It is Washington's defense, and on the Washington side, that's a little riskier. You do have Taylor Heineke. I'm not looking to play Taylor Heineke against Philly, but Terry McLaurin can still be played because even if they're down, Taylor Heineke will force the ball to Scary Terry, and Curtis Samuel can be flexed. He did have a touchdown last week, and he has been looking better and better over the last couple weeks. But the ones that I'm looking at are the running backs that right now, that's the big question mark. Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson, are those two guys like you want to start right now against Philly's defense? No. No. That's a no. Just don't do it. Antonio Gibson's kind of interesting for